A top focus, the Kochi police have taken a significant step by registering a case against Union Minister Rajeev Chandrasekhar. Now, this action follows accusations that the minister made statements on social media that purportedly fostered enmity between different groups. The controversy emerged when Chandrasekhar accused the Congress and CPIM of engaging in appeasement politics, asserting that such political strategies led to the tragic Ernakulam blast that claimed 3 lives. Now, in response, the Congress party countered these claims, alleging that Rajeev Chandrashekhar and BJP spokesperson Anil Anthony have been making inflammatory statements regarding the Kerala blast with the alleged intention of sowing communal discord and inciting unrest in the region. Consequently, the Cyber Police Cell registered an F.I.R. concerning the minister's recent social media remarks. Adding to the heated exchanges, Kerala BJP chief K. Surendran accused the Pinarayi Vijayan government of providing support and encouragement to divisive elements and those with extremist ideologies. Now, the backdrop to these developments is the tragic incident that unfolded on October 29th, in which 3 people, including a 12-year-old girl, lost their lives and numerous others were injured in the blast at a convention center in Ernakulam.
This is the double standards and hypocrisy of the state government. This move only helped to make the radical forces happy. I am wondering why the state government is not taking any case against those who conducted a rally and participated Hamas leader in Malappuram. No case against them. Rajeev Chandrasekhar ji only questioned this stand. Vote bank politics is behind this. The state government is trying to mobilize the ulterior forces, the radical forces before the election. This is only for vote bank politics. We strongly condemn, legally and politically we will fight against it.
This issue of this bomb blast is being utilized by the state government to raise allegations against BJP and in particular against Sri Rajeev Chandrashekhar. That the Kerala has become such a vulnerable place where an individual can go and indulge in such terrorist acts. It's a failure of the law and order mechanism. It's a failure of the state police and the Home Ministry of the state. And so what are the steps being undertaken by the state government?
Rajeev Chandrashekhar അദ്ദേഹത്തിന്റെ കൂട്ടാളികളും നമ്മുടെ രാജ്യത്ത് സ്വീകരിക്കുന്ന നിലപാട് ഈ പാലസ്തീൻ ഐക്യദാർഢ്യം പ്രകടിപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് പ്രകടനങ്ങളും മറ്റും നടക്കുമ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെതായ പരിപാടികൾ നടക്കുമ്പോൾ അതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായി കേസെടുക്കാൻ പറ്റുമോ നോക്കലാണ്. അവരെ കേസിൽ കൊടുക്കാൻ നോക്കുകയാണ്. അത് കേരളത്തിൽ നടക്കില്ല. പാലസ്തീന്റെ കൂടെയാണ് നമ്മൾ എല്ലാ കാലത്തും നിന്നിട്ടുള്ളത്, രാജ്യം നിന്നിട്ടുള്ളത്. അതിൽ നിന്നാണ് ഇപ്പൊ മാറിപ്പോയിട്ടുള്ളത്. അത് വേറൊരു ഭാഗം, ഞാനിപ്പോ അതിലേക്കല്ലല്ലോ നമ്മളിപ്പോ കൂടുതലായിട്ട് പോകേണ്ടത്. പക്ഷെ ആ ഒരു മാനസികാവസ്ഥ വെച്ചുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് പറയുന്നത്. ഇതില് സാധാരണഗതിയിൽ ചെയ്യാൻ പാടില്ലാത്ത എന്തെങ്കിലും നടന്നിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് പോലീസ് പരിശോധിക്കുകയും നടപടികൾ എടുക്കുകയും ചെയ്യും. അത്ര മാത്രമേ അതിൽ കാണേണ്ടതായിട്ടുള്ളൂ.
How can it be a politically motivated? Supreme Court has given a clear directions. Suo motu, they can file a case if there is a hate speech. Majority of the ministers in BJP in the central government under Mr. Modi's regime, they are the hate mongers. It's very unfortunate. Only opposition ruled states are filing FIR against these ministers. They are fit to be debarred from those states where they try to provoke the communal passions.
All right, to take this conversation further, I'm being joined in by my guest this evening, Anil Anthony, BJP National Secretary. Anil, thank you very much for taking the time out and joining us here on Mirror Now this evening. Let me begin by asking you this. What do you make of this complaint filed by the KPCC that also takes your name? And what do you have to say about that, as well as the F.I.R. that has been booked against Union Minister Rajeev Chandrashekhar?
Whatever is happening in Kerala is unfortunate. And what we are seeing is just the culmination of the politics that is practiced by the ruling government in Kerala, which is the CPIM, and their national ally partners, the Indian National Congress and the Muslim League. They are in the opposition parties and two opposition sides in Kerala. But in the national stage, they are all together and they are all working in unison in the state of Kerala to promote certain extremist Islamic fundamentalist views for their own political expediencies and for their vote bank politics. And now we have reached the stage where all this is becoming a reality. Today, a F.I.R is filed against me and as well as Sri Rajeev Chandrashekhar. But all of us and other leaders in Kerala, what we are telling the people is the growing rise of Islamic fundamentalism in Kerala. We have not spoken much about the blast that happened in Kalmasheri. All we have said is we are very happy that the NIA and the NSG is looking into the matter, and we will wait for what comes out. But you look at what has been happening in the state for the last few months, years, what we can see is clearly a growing trend of radicalization. Just 2 days back, you had a Hamas leader who, incidentally, 2 weeks back, the same Hamas leader was virtually addressing a rally in Pakistan where he called for a global jihad. And then 2 days back, he was addressing a rally to a massive crowd virtually in Kerala. So this is the reality there. And then you look at what has been happening in Kerala in the last few months. In the last few months itself, the NIA has busted many sleeper cells of the PFI, which is a banned organization across Kerala. Even now, once the Israel conflict started, the PFI is openly holding marches across Kerala supporting terror organizations. Then you had instances where NIA has filed multiple charge sheets on terror-related activities in India, in Kerala, including the attempt by a perpetrator to burn a train bogie right next to HPCL plant, where again the NIA had to act. Now charge sheet that the perpetrator has been found. And this is the reality in Kerala. So everybody in Kerala is concerned by this growing extremism and the efforts by the three main parties in Kerala to pander to these extremists for their vote bank politics. The BJP strongly condemn all these kind of activities. We are fighting against the growth of extremism in Kerala. And because of political reasons, things have reached a stage where in Kerala, if you speak for the terrorists, you are a hero. When the Hamas leader came, those who he was welcomed like a hero. There was a communist leader who compared him to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and Bhagat Singh. So this is the kind of political environment that is existing in Kerala, and whoever is speaking against extremism, the state is trying to use the state machinery to shut them down. So when people like me, who is a national office bearer of the BJP or a union minister, if this is our this is how the Kerala government is behaving, you can obviously imagine what is happening to our regular Karyakartas who is trying to raise this issue on the ground. So this is a reality in Kerala, but we will fight it politically and legally, and we will not allow extremism to flourish in Kerala. We will fight against all this extremism that is happening in Kerala.
Anil, as you point that out, and you also spoke about how there were certain speeches that were made. What do you have to say about the openly pro-Palestine stand taken by Chief Minister Vijayan?
See, here again, there are two sides to it. India always had a very principled stand on this issue. If you look at realities, Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji is the first Prime Minister to go to Israel. He is also the first Prime Minister to officially go to the state of Palestine. And he has also got the highest civilian award from Palestine in 2018. We always, even 2 days back also, our foreign ministry has said that we always stand for a negotiated two-state solution. But there is a huge difference between Palestinian cause and supporting a terror organization. We also need to understand that Israel is a very critical core ally of India, a very good friend of India, who is a strategic security and counterterrorism partner of India. So we have a very balanced views in all global affairs. But what is happening in Kerala is not support of Palestine. What is happening in Kerala is the open support of Hamas and their activities. You had a Congress MP, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, who in a rally 1 week back had said that, okay, Hamas activity was a terror activity, and now he is also sidelined. So in Kerala, things have reached a stage where it is no longer support for Palestinian cause. This is a blatant support for terror activities against other people, and this is being hero worshipped. And terrorists are being hero worshipped in Kerala. Terrorists are given a platform to speak. A global terror leader who went to Pakistan and called for a global jihad was given a platform to speak to a large crowd in Kerala. So this is all what is happening in Kerala. So let us not confuse this with Palestine cause. This is just terror sympathizing. This is just blatant support of terror. And this is something which is dangerous. Because if this is not curtailed in Kerala right now, sooner than later, this will become a national security concern for the whole country. So this is not something the Bharatiya Janata Party wants. So we will politically, legally, we will do everything possible to prevent the rise of this kind of dangerous radical extremism in Kerala.
Anil, as you pointed out, what action can we expect from the central government in, such a case where it becomes a state versus center affair?
This is not a state versus center affair. This is actually the law and order situation in the case in the state completely breaking down, where the state machinery, which is under the central government, which is under the state government, is now acting as enablers of terror groups. So in the last 6 months itself, like I already mentioned, the NIA has filed multiple charge sheets on different terror-related activities in India, in Kerala. And NIA had to step in. The NIA had to step in because of the absolute nonchalance of the state machinery. So now again, we have full faith in Prime Minister Modi, and we have full faith in Home Minister Amit Shah ji, and we are very sure that they are monitoring the situation, and they will not allow this kind of anti-India, anti-national, pro-terror activities to flourish. So we hope and we are sure that central agencies will play a large role in ensuring that these kind of extremist views and extremist organization will not flourish in Kerala.
Anil, coming back to the complaint that was, filed, and it states, and I'm quoting the same, that through your media interviews, you gave the incident a communal color, moreover states that you're a repeat offender when it comes to polarizing statements. How do you view that?
So in Kerala right now, if you speak for the terrorists, you are a hero. If you speak against terrorists, if you speak against extremism, you are seen as an offender. So this is the political reality in Kerala. Yes, we have been repeatedly telling that extremism is growing in Kerala. We have been repeatedly telling that there is a growing rise of Islamic fundamentalism in Kerala. And this is all proven. For example, there are all these are open records of NIA charge sheets which are filed about various incidences that happened in Kerala. It is all proven with documentation, which is again available in the public domain of the different PFI modules, which is a banned organization that is banned in Kerala. It is a proven, everybody knows that globally renowned terrorist was addressing a massive crowd in Kerala just 2 days back. So all this is repeatedly happening. And so when these kind of instances are repeatedly happening, then it is our responsibility and duty to the nation to ensure that we repeatedly point this out, and we repeatedly tell that extremism and Islamic fundamentalism is growing in Kerala, and we try our level best to ensure that this doesn't become mainstream.
Anil, as that you're pointing that out as well, and what you make of these charges against you. On the other hand, Congress has also stated that ministers under Modi's regime are hate mongers and are fit to be debarred from states where they try to provoke communal passions. What is your take? How do you view such statements?
The Congress party is right now hand in glove with the Communist Party and the Indian Union Muslim League in trying to appease all these kind of dangerous anti-India, anti-national pro-terror organizations across India for their electoral expediencies. So just like what we are seeing in Kerala, they will also feel that when people speak against terrorism and extremism, we are offenders, and they feel that whoever is speaking for these terrorists and extremists are heroes. So I am not at all surprised by the comments by the Congress leadership, because finally they have all become big-time terror and extremist supporters. So everything with them is seen as a good thing, and everything against them is seen as a bad thing.
And Anil, before I let you go, how does the BJP really plan to tackle this going ahead?
We will not allow any kind of extremism to flourish anywhere in India. We will not allow any kind of extremism, religious fundamentalism to flourish in Kerala also. We will politically, we will legally fight it. And I'm very sure that the great people of Kerala, they are seeing all this, and they know that now it is time for a change in Kerala. The two parties, the Communist Party and the Congress Party, they are every 5 years, 10 years, they come, they share power, but both of them are following the same politics of appeasement. So now the people of Kerala is very, very strongly and surely understanding all this. And so we are sure that in this democracy, the Bharatiya Janata Party will politically fight it. And we will sooner than later be the party that will replace these appeasement parties, and we will start governing Kerala. And then when we start governing Kerala, we will also take Kerala forward with the Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, progress for all, appeasement for none policy, which our Prime Minister is following.
Right, Anil, I appreciate you taking the time out and joining us here this evening on Mirror Now and sharing with us your perspective as well. But for the moment, we're going to leave the conversation at that. Thank you very much. But I'm being joined in by my other guests also this evening. I do understand Vinita Hariharan, the BJP spokesperson, is on the broadcast. Vinita, good evening to you. Thank you very much for taking the time. Our other guests are also going to be joining us extremely shortly. But of course, what do you make of this entire situation that has panned out in Kerala for starters, and also with the fact that the BJP is talking about appeasement politics? We heard what Anil Anthony had to say. Your opening remarks before we go across to my other guests who are going to be on the panel shortly.
No, absolutely shocking and dangerous times over here in Kerala for us when we have, so many incidents that have been happening in a series with similar kind of offense and similar kind of the terrorist attack, when there is this improvised explosive device wrapped up in letterboxes, wrapped up in a tiffin box. And that's been happening since many years. In 2003, we had a massacre in Murray Beach against Hindu fishermen. In 2006, we had it in a transport bus stand in Kozhikode. And then in 2006 again, in Trivandrum, like I said, the letterbox incident, IED wrapped up in a letterbox. And then we had an Ernakulam collectorate on the 5th floor of Ernakulam collectorate. There was a IED device wrapped up in a tiffin box again. So these are the kind of, so-called, it deceptively appears as a Lone Ranger incident, but it's actually not. And it's a series of terror attacks that have been happening. And, and it's also kind of gone up to the extent of setting ablaze coaches and trains. So this is the kind of radicalization and the kind of extremism that Kerala has been witness to, unlike what is happening across the country, where our government has been, doing so much to secure our borders, and we've had resolution of long-standing issues like Jammu and Kashmir. After so much time, we've had peace there when the red of the snow-capped mountains have become white after so many years, and so there's so much of efforts being taken by our government to to protect our country against the terror attacks. And we can, recall how vulnerable we were before 2014 when, we had attacks to even, the symbol of our sovereignty, which was the Parliament House. So we've gone a long way from that, and our country has been, extremely secure the last 10 years. But as Kerala has been a vulnerable hotspot, unfortunately. And, and when if you look at the kind of linkages that we're having to various other global terror outfits, and, we have to recall the recent crackdown that we had in the PFI chain in Kerala. So the Kerala government should not be in denial of what's happening. They should take cognizance of what is happening and the series of crimes that innocent civilians are being subject to. And, and the fact that they were hosting the Hamas leader through a video conference to address a huge congregation of Muslim youth in Kerala itself, in Malappuram, just the other day, was extremely disturbing, because we are actually singing a different tune from what the central government and what our Ministry of External Affairs is actually giving out to the United Nations and giving out to the whole world. We cannot have an isolated voice supporting Hamas, and I mean, it is a freedom expression, but at the same time, we cannot support a terrorist outfit. We can support Palestine or we can support Israel, but we cannot support Hamas, and we cannot support a terror attack that happened on October 7th. So these are the kind of, incidents that have been happening in the recent past. And then we see this terror attack at the Jehovah congregation. So, I mean, we'll have to really investigate deeper into this incident, whether it was just a Lone Ranger attack by one person whose mind was disturbed by a disturbed young Jehovahite, or is it something that's linked to a larger terrorist kind of, a chain of events? So that is something the Kerala government has to really investigate and take cognizance of, and, ensure that there is no more such isolated incidents of terror which are linked to larger chains of global terror attacks, I would say.
Vinita, as you make those opening remarks, I'm going to come back to you on that. But quickly, let's listen in to the earlier comment that was made by the Chief Minister, and then I'll come back to you.
രാജീവ് ചന്ദ്രശേഖറും അദ്ദേഹത്തിന്റെ കൂട്ടാളികളും നമ്മുടെ രാജ്യത്ത് സ്വീകരിക്കുന്ന നിലപാട് ഈ പാലസ്തീൻ ഐക്യദാർഢ്യം പ്രകടിപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് പ്രകടനങ്ങളും മറ്റും നടക്കുമ്പോൾ, അതിൻ്റെതായ പരിപാടികൾ നടക്കുമ്പോൾ അതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായി കേസെടുക്കാൻ പറ്റുമോ നോക്കലാണ്. അവരെ കേസിൽ കൊടുക്കാൻ നോക്കുകയാണ്. അത് കേരളത്തിൽ നടക്കില്ല. പാലസ്തീന്റെ കൂടെയാണ് നമ്മൾ എല്ലാ കാലത്തും നിന്നിട്ടുള്ളത്, രാജ്യം നിന്നിട്ടുള്ളത്. അതിൽ നിന്നാണ് ഇപ്പൊ മാറിപ്പോയിട്ടുള്ളത്. അത് വേറൊരു ഭാഗം, ഞാനിപ്പോ അതിലേക്കല്ലല്ലോ നമ്മളിപ്പോ കൂടുതലായിട്ട് പോകേണ്ടത്. പക്ഷെ ആ ഒരു മാനസികാവസ്ഥ വെച്ചുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് പറയുന്നത്. ഇതില് സാധാരണഗതിയിൽ ചെയ്യാൻ പാടില്ലാത്ത എന്തെങ്കിലും നടന്നിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് പോലീസ് പരിശോധിക്കുകയും നടപടികൾ എടുക്കുകയും ചെയ്യും. അത്ര മാത്രമേ അതിൽ കാണേണ്ടതായിട്ടുള്ളൂ.
All right, we'll take that conversation back to Vinita, but before that, I do understand Lokesh Jindal, political analyst, is also joining us on the show. Lokesh, thank you very much for taking your time out. Let me begin by asking you this. How do you really read into this situation? We also had Anil Anthony a while ago on the show saying that there is a growing rise of fundamental organizations in Kerala, and with the fact that the current government is involved in appeasement politics as well.
Well, let us look at the series of events. On 29th of October, we have a blast. And then immediately there are conjectures and speculations are rise that this is the outcome, this is the handiwork of the Hamas organization. And there was an effort so as to put the entire blame on a particular community and set the political narrative in motion. And what came out by 30th of October is, in the evening, there is a former member of Jehovah's Witness, Martin Dominic, and on 7 p.m. he releases a social media post in the Facebook, he has a video, and he claims the entire responsibility of conducting this blast. It's a terrorist attack. The point is, when such incidents take place, it becomes extremely important for every institution, functionary, leader, to be very cautious over the inference and narratives they set into, because this could have a domino effect. It could conflagrate violence, it could spread unrest, and it could have dangerous consequences. What is happening here is such form of a statement coming out with ministers, with office bearers, it has a significant value. And these statements cannot be ignored by institutions. And they are potent enough to cause a lot of problems, law and order problems. So this is a rising call. Today we live in a well-connected society, especially of social media, and he was a minister of IT. And so due caution must be adhered to. All facts must be analyzed. Let the investigative agency come out with their probes, inferences, conclusions, and only then there must be some form of an informed and an unbiased statement given by the functionaries. Yes, please.
Okay. All right, Lokesh, as you make those opening remarks, I'm going to take that across to Vinita as well. But I do understand Atikur Rahman, political analyst, is also joining us on the show. Atikur, thank you very much for taking the time out and joining us here this evening. Vinita, let me come to you the comment that Lokesh was making, that he believes such statements will create law and order issues.
No, absolutely not. This CM is actually deflecting the entire incident and, pointing out the comments made by Rajeev Chandrasekhar ji. He has to actually look at what has happened day before yesterday in Kalamassery at the, rather than talking about the bomb blast and the reasons behind the bomb blast, you target a union minister for the comments that he made when he was visiting Ernakulam. He visited the bomb site and he was making the comment that the CM was actually outside the state. He was actually in a pro-Palestine rally in Delhi. I mean, that is not, it's not really keeping with the fundamental duties. And that is what Rajeev Chandrasekhar ji was saying. And then later on, what he countered CM's statement by saying that, we do not support organizations like the PFI and Hamas. And so does that make us communal because we don't support terrorist organizations? So there is nothing that he has said which has to rake up communal sentiments in the state. And I think his entire statement is blown out of context, and it has to be read in the context in which he was speaking, the spirit in which he was speaking. He was talking about how state governments have to be more careful in kind of protecting their own states and to ensure that law and order is intact in the state within Kerala. So that is what he was actually trying to indicate from his statement.
All right. Okay. So you're essentially saying that people are reading a lot more into this statement than they have to. But I think let me come to you on this. The Indian government has not declared Hamas as a terrorist organization. You know, despite the center not declaring Hamas as a terrorist organization, we have Rajeev saying what he did, and also your opening remarks as to how you essentially see this entire thing pan out in Kerala.
That's what from the day one we are asking the central government, that why not ban the Hamas as a terrorist organization, but they are unable to do it. Maybe they are having some geopolitical reasons regarding this. But as far as this particular incident is concerned, we hope that the central government ministers, they behave in a very, very responsible manner. And is this for the first time that they are, hate mongering related to minorities and the Kerala government? Whenever such incidents happen, they drop the gun, and the only salvation against all this particular is against the minorities, mainly the Muslims. Now, the central government, if a minister is caught on a wrong foot, the simple thing he should do is he should apologize to the state government. The things should rest at that particular point. But herein, the BJP is so, hard-bent on these issues that they will neither apologize nor they will say that henceforth we will be more responsible towards such incidences. The Muslims, if for God's sake, if there have to be a Muslim particular member who had, accepted the responsibility of this blast, hell would have broken in the BJP camp. But they
all right, I think I have to
miserably
interject you
on
there,
this-
but essentially what the BJP also goes on to say that there is double standards and hypocrisy of the state government. There's no case against people who conducted the rally, and they charge a case against the person who questioned that. Essentially, with the current situation, this is all for vote bank politics, in tandem with the Kerala blast is what we're talking about. So how do you see that?
No, if they are asking for, the state government being responsible for appeasement and vote bank politics, may I just ask the BJP spokesperson round the clock what the Prime Minister and the BJP spokesperson do? Do they not, go for vote banks? Do they not call the opposition, linking them to terrorism? Is it responsible on the part of the central government and the ministers to, just hobnob the opposition with the terrorists? Is it responsible federal this thing? A responsibility on them? Time and again we see that the opposition is thrown to the terrorist camp. We do not expect it as Indians that the ruling regime and the opposition parties have this vulgar game just for the sake of votes. Kerala, for God's sake, is the best run state in the whole country. You look at the development index of Kerala and compare it with the cow belt or the Hindi belt. You will come to know that this is one of the best states. And here you are muddying the waters in this particular best state of India. Do you want to compare Kerala with the northern states, which are fully of communal nature? This is uncalled for, I would say. The central ministers, they are not fringe elements. They should act responsibility, and herein the minister has caught on a wrong foot. He should apologize.
Okay, essentially asking for an apology, Vinita, but you are saying that people should not be reading too much into these statements that are made.
No, absolutely. With all due regard to Atik ji, who's there in the panel, BJP has never been talking against Muslims or for Muslims or against Christians or for Christians. We talk about the people of the country in general, and all our programs and policies of the Modi government have been for all, the entire population, despite caste, creed, color, sex, religion. So, we do not distinguish between religions, and this is the kind of narrative, the false narrative that the opposition is, kind of pointing fingers at us that we are for vote bank politics and we are, dividing the country on religious fault lines is absolutely not the case, whereas it is, actually the opposite. And what happened the day before yesterday, and let us not shift focus from the entire incident that has happened, in Kalamashiri. It is a horrible bomb blast which has left 50 people injured and 3 people have died. And, let us look at that and let us investigate and review and look at the link of terrorism, if there is any, to the bomb blast that has happened happened day before yesterday. It cannot be a Lone Ranger, because this kind of Lone Ranger incidents have been happening since 2003 in Kerala. The similar kind of IED wrapped up in letterboxes, wrapped up in tiffin boxes, blasted in collectorates, blasted in the post offices. So this is the kind of series of attacks that Kerala has been witnessing. Let's not be in denial. Yes, I agree, Kerala was a developed state, but there is a reversal today in the country. You look at the BIMARU states, so-called BIMARU states in the UPA regime is now the most performing states in the country today. Kerala is lagging behind in many of the economic indices. We cannot just hold on to a legacy of a developed indicators and a development indicators that we had in once upon a time. Yes, we agree. We had the fastest literacy, fastest growing state in terms of literacy levels, etc. But now we have to focus on our economy. We have to focus on so many other things. We have to focus on our safety, our security. So there are so many other things that Kerala is lagging behind. Let's take cognizance of that and develop the state in that respect.
All right. Okay. I'd have to come to you, Lokesh, as far as this is concerned. Of course, politics has really, blown out completely over this, which is unfortunate, because ultimately this is a blast case, wherein innocent lives have also been lost, and that should matter. What should it mean to these families?
Well, it was an unfortunate incident, and it raises a lot of questions as to what were the intentions this man, he conducted this act, and how he was able to procure, how he was able to develop IEDs. So as per the information that has been available till now is this person was an immigrant. He was a migrant in Dubai. He has well versed with electrical circuits, and with all the resources available, he managed to develop the IED and had it executed. He had a personal own vendetta with respect to the Jehovah's community, as what has been told in the news agencies. However, now the matter is being taken up by the National Investigation Agency, which shall look into all the angles and come out with all the findings. I would like to make one important point here. The BJP co-panelist, she said that the CM, he had not paid adequate attention to this event. That is absolutely wrong. On 30th of October itself, the Chief Minister visited the site, and he immediately ordered a high probe. In fact, the DGP himself is monitoring this probe, and an all-party meeting was called into. And following this all-party meeting, all forms of discussions took place with respect to this particular blast. So any form of accusation or any form of doubt over the Chief Minister's inadequate response to this tragedy or to this terror attack is not correct. It is unfair. Let us not twist and turn the facts. The fact is the Chief Minister did respond to it, and he also gave a statement in his speech. The Chief Minister stated that yes, a controversial leader's speech in a public rally is something that could not be stopped. And if at all there was any form of blasphemy or any form of anti-national or improper message given in that particular rally, strict police action would be taken. So over here, I do not find any valid ground for the BJP to corner the Chief Minister or to come out with any statement accusing him of deliberation or laxity or being responsible for this particular act. Yes, please.
Okay, so you do say essentially that the Chief Minister did respond and, also going on to comment about it. But Ati, coming to you as far as the statement by the BJP also was made, that the current situation is the failure of law and order mechanisms, the state police and the home ministry of the state. Also going on to question what steps were undertaken by the state government. How do you look at that?
No, I do not understand. Objectively looking into it, how can, first of all, a rally is being organized by a very recognized group, Jamaat-e-Islami. How can the state government, the state police refuse the rally? Once the rally is there, they called a person who is an ex-member of Hamas, as they claim, and Hamas is not a terrorist organization.
I think I'd have to interject you there. This is in terms of the blast that did happen. We're not talking about the rally here in terms of the blast.
Fine. Then if the blast is the main reason, how can the central government jump and say that the state government is into appeasement? Without any conclusions, without any investigation, without any report of the local police, they jumped the gun and said that this is the result of a appeasement policy of the state government. Once they say appeasement policy, they are pinpointing especially the Muslims, because time and again the central leadership has pinpointed to the Kerala government that they are, since the days of Hadya case, we are looking, the most important agency, NIA, was, behind that Hadya case just to prove a very, very false narrative and argument. Nothing came out of it. 3 important years of NIA were wasted on it. The Supreme Court said that no, there is not an iota of evidence that any sort of, terrorism was involved in the Hadya case. And there are several other examples wherein the central government and the BJP spokesperson. Now, is it not the duty of the central government to say responsibly that the state governments do not appease for vote banks? As the central government itself has its hands deep into appeasement. Is Hindu appeasement very different from Muslim appeasement? What the BJP is doing since the last 9.5 years, just the appeasement of the majority Hindus. But they are very much fond of the
I think
Muslim
I'll have
appeasement.
to interject you there because, why is religion coming into the way? Essentially, what I was also asking Lokesh earlier, right, that politics, of course, has ensued over this, which is unfortunate, with the fact that these innocent lives are also being lost. I think that should matter as well.
Yes, certainly.
Is it for me?
Yes, Atik, that's for you.
Oh. Yeah, we really care for the people and the lives lost. The terrorist elements who have gained ground in our country should be dealt with a very, very strong hand. But I would like to ask again a question to the central government, since they always claim that we are having a zero tolerance towards terrorism. And I was on several different, channels wherein all the BJP spokesperson said that since years together, the Pinarayi Vijayan government is giving a very free hand to the terrorists and the ISIS modules. Now, may I ask the BJP spokesperson, if zero tolerance is the central government policy, how can you give such a free hand to a state government? Have you ever demanded that Article 356 should be imposed on the state government and a precedent rule be imposed there? Now, is this the zero tolerance policy of the central government towards terrorism? But no, you want to just garner
All
votes.
right, I think I'd have to interject you there, although you are making your points. I'm afraid we're also running out of time. Lokesh, coming to you for closing comments as to how you see this pan out in the state as well, and what is the way going forward as far as this entire situation is concerned?
I think that there is, again, the social media, it needs to be monitored, regulated. The media platforms, the individuals, they have to be made more responsible because any form of irresponsible comment, it could conflagrate major tensions all across the country. Secondly, individuals accessing all forms of information with respect to development of such devices, that is also available on the internet and other platforms. That all must be monitored, that all must be regulated, because such individuals with some form of insanity and improper mindset, having wrong attitudes, they get access to potential resources which can cause a terrible damage. Thirdly, a new set of protocol must be adhered to. The law and order situation, yes, the police also has to be extremely responsible and cautious, because whenever there is a public gathering taking place of any form, like we have the Jehovah's Witnesses, that about 2,000 people had gathered over there. So there should have been a proper screening and other arrangements available, so any person who is entering that premises must be screened, and all such of protocols the police also must adhere to, so that the lives of individuals, citizens, they could be safeguarded. So there is a need for a lot of preventive measures, and also with respect to the post-incident, the post-disaster measures that need to be applied in order to avert such disasters in future course. Yes.
All right, Lokesh, on that note, I want to thank you as well as Vinita and Atik for taking their time out and joining us here this evening and sharing with us your perspective as far as this is concerned. We're going to leave the conversation at that for the moment. We're taking a short break here. More news coming up on the other side. Stay with us.